The old way of getting webinar signups from Instagram stories was this way on the left here, where you simply will put on the Instagram story something asking for a reply CTA, reply for the word class, reply for the word access, whatever it is, and then you take people through the Instagram DMs, through a link that you send to them, then they have to go to the landing page, then they fill out their form, to actually sign up for the webinar. But what if I told you if you simply shortened this process to do everything in Instagram DMs, you could quite literally double your webinar revenue by doubling your webinar registrants? Because the more people you have registered to the webinar means the more people that show up, the more people that convert, etc., etc. And if you double any metric on a webinar funnel, that means you are literally doubling your total revenue as well. So that's what I'm going to be showing you in this video, how you could take your webinar sign up funnel from something like this to literally doing it all in the DMs and quite literally doubling your metrics. So first though, just so you understand what this is, here's the two examples side by side. So this is the old way where they would just reply a keyword, then maybe a ManyChat or something GoHighLevel automation setup that just sends them the link to register for the webinar. Then you take them through a landing page and they put their information in the form, and then they're signed up, which is a lot of friction, and you're taking them through a lot of different steps just to get them to sign up for the webinar. And you need them to put in their first name, email, phone number, and if you're compliant, check off a couple boxes all before actually signing them up for the webinar. But what I'm going to show you how to do in today's video is how to make it so they can simply just reply a keyword, type in their email and phone number straight into the Instagram DMs, and as soon as they type in their email, they're already signed up for the webinar, already getting the email reminders and all of that. Plus, even past that, how you could optimize for people joining a Telegram channel or a WhatsApp channel, all in the Instagram DMs, just like is in this video right here. So basically how this works is you're just going to be using a few different software. So first of all, we're going to be connecting your Instagram to GoHighLevel for the actual Instagram DMs hosting. Then you're going to use probably Zapier, but if you have any other automation software that's even better than Zapier, that's perfect. Zapier is just the simplest thing that you could use. And then from Zapier, you're going to take them into your ESP, your email service provider. I normally use Kit. And then also into the Zoom webinars account or Webinar Jam if you're using Webinar Jam for the email. So the first step is going to be on the GoHighLevel. So once you have your Instagram actually connected to the GoHighLevel, you'll be able to have triggers on automations like this, where it will make it so that once actions are taken on your Instagram profile, it will send those contacts into workflows slash automations on GoHighLevel. So you're going to set up two triggers on this automation. That is going to be one for customer replied for the word class, which looks like this, and then customer commented, or not customer, but just comment the word class as the other trigger. Now, from there, you're going to set a condition where if the workflow trigger was the comment trigger, then you're going to first respond to their comment, then you're going to go to this next step, which will be under the none path, where you can add any tag. I normally just add a tag saying basically that they replied whatever the keyword is, or they commented whatever the keyword is for whatever the date of the webinar is. And then from there, you could set a condition, but this is only something you need if you already do have an email list. If you do not have an email list, do not worry about this. However, if you already have emails and phone numbers saved onto your GoHighLevel, then I highly recommend you add this step, which basically will see what information do we already have of the lead. So if we already have their email, then we're only going to ask for their phone number, which I'll get to in just a second. If we already have their email and phone number, then we're not going to ask for anything. We're literally just going to sign them up right away. And then if we have nothing, then we're going to take them through the main path where we're going to collect that email and collect that phone number. So we're going to ask them basically what is their email. You already saw an example of that DM in the Miro board that I just showed you. You could word this however you want though. And then if it is from a comment, like the trigger was from a comment, then we are simply going to wait for the reply now. We are not going to send any follow-ups. However, if they DM'd you first, then I'll show you how to set up a follow-up for that. So If it was from a comment, meaning they just commented on one of your posts, say it was the word class, then we're just going to send them to a wait for a reply step where the what you're waiting for is not an amount of time, it's not an amount of anything, is simply just waiting for reply, and then you need to select this message as the message that you're waiting for them to reply to. And you could do this all very easily on GoHighLevel by creating a wait step. And then after they reply, then we're just going to send them to the next part, which I'll get to in just a second. And if they are not from a comment, meaning they DM'd you, then we will wait for a reply with a timeout. Now, you want this timeout to be 25 hours because normally if you have it any less than 24 hours, so including 24 hours, but any less than that, then it might error when you send them the follow-up message. However, if you wait 25 hours, normally this will work properly. I say normally because, again, sometimes this follow-up will not work 100% of the time, but it's much better to have than to not have. And when let's say they do not reply after 25 hours, then you're going to send a follow-up message, which could just simply be yo, could simply be just put in your email, whatever it is, and then you're going to wait for a reply with no timeout. And then once they do reply, whether they come from this step, meaning they commented and then you send them the message and then they replied with their email, then they go here, or if they go through this path, or if they go through a path of they did not actually send their email within the 25 hours, then you follow up and then they send their email, then they're going to be updated. The contact field will be updated. Now, you won't be able to see this on the right fully, but what you'll need to do is set the action to update field data, and then you're just going to select the field as email, and then you're going to just put in this as what you're going to update their email with. So what this basically means is you're going to be updating the email field for the contact who's going through the workflow with whatever they just sent in the DM. So this also means that if they just sent, wait, why do I need to give you my email, then it will literally update their email field as, wait, why do I need to give you my email? So you really want to make sure they're stressing in your messages that all they need to drop in is their email. And if they give anything other than that, it will not work. And then from there, you will tag them with something specific to what information was just collected. So for this one, you're going to tag them with email added. You could word this tag however you want. You can see how I have it formatted here. And then you're going to ask for the phone number in a very similar way. I normally just say like, bet, what can I add as your phone number, something like that. Just make sure it sounds like you, like you would, whatever you would actually type in the DMs. And then same thing here, wait for reply. You just want to make sure that they're going to be waiting for reply to that step in particular. And then if they do not reply within 25 hours, again, send a follow-up and then wait for a reply on this follow-up. And then you're going to go to this field, which will be very similar idea, exact same thing. Now we're going to update their phone with whatever they just sent now. And then we're going to add a specific tag for the phone added. Now, basically what this does is this will allow you to put them into your phone reminders workflow, and I'll get to that in just a second. But just to finish up the Instagram DMs, next you're going to CTA them into whatever channel you have, whether it be a Telegram channel or a WhatsApp channel, even an Instagram broadcast channel, however else you're going to send them reminders for the webinar. And then you're going to also ask for them to reply there, not because you're going to update any contact field, but just so you could get them to progress through, and they will actually still be in some way pushed to actually complete the step. So you're going to tell them to join it and then just say done, like tell them to message you the word done when they're done. And then once they do message you the word done, then you're going to just send them the Zoom link for the webinar so they can actually save the link, save it on their calendar, whatever it is, as much as they can. And then also, if you do have a low ticket product, then this is when you could tell them to buy the low ticket product. Or if you don't have a low ticket product of some sort of starter kit, like one time offer for people who just registered for the webinar, this is where you could also put in the link for the thank you page, where maybe you have some FAQ videos, maybe you have just like simple steps. Okay, watch this video, join the Telegram or join the WhatsApp, and check out some customer reviews or client testimonials. That is the perfect thing going to send them right after all of this. Now, one massive benefit of doing it like this is that you do not need to wait for them to put in all of their contact information just for them to be signed up for the webinar. So what I personally do is whenever they put in their email, they're right away signed up for the webinar and put in the email reminders, which I'll show you how to do right now. So basically what this is going to look like is you're going to set up a webhook on the GoHighLevel, which I'll show you how to do in just a minute, and then you're just going to be able to add them to the kit or whatever ESP you're using through a form, and then also on Zoom you're going to be able to create a webinar registrant or very similar thing on Webinar Jam. Now, what you'll do from here to actually trigger that new Zap that you created on Zapier is going to be this. So when they get this tag, which is the tag that we're giving them as soon as they put in their email, and we save that email, then they're going to trigger a webhook, and that will be what starts that Zap. And then once they go through that Zap, then they will be added to a kit form. Now this means you're going to need to make a blank form that could look something like this on kit. All you want to make sure on here is on the incentive tab in the settings, you just have this send incentive email off, so it looks exactly like this. And then you'll be able to go into automate and then rules, and then create a rule that basically looks like this. When they subscribe to that form, you're going to add whatever tag it is for the webinar that you're running. And then you could also subscribe them to a sequence, which is just a one email sequence that is basically just a automatic email that is sent to people as soon as they put in their email saying that they are signed up and they should join the broadcast channel, whatever it is, on Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever it is. And then also if you have any FAQ videos or client results, just throw those in that email as well. And then what you're going to do with this tag is whenever you want to send email reminders, is you're going to only send those email reminders to people who have this tag, and that will only send to people who are registered for the webinar. So what that looks like on the actual kit is like when you're actually sending the broadcast, it'll be only sending to subscribers who have this tag right here. And then one more final thing that you really need to keep in mind, or else this Zap will not work, is on the Zoom webinars, you want to make sure that you have the last name as a not required question. And how you're going to do this is you're going to go into the webinar that you created, click on the webinar, you're going to go to invitations, which is the second tab here, and you're going to click on edit on the right side of registration settings. Go to questions, and you want to make sure last name is not required, because we're not actually collecting last names here in the Instagram DM sequence. It's only going to be using the first names from their Instagram account, and then for the email and phone number, it will just use whatever they give you in the Instagram DMs. Now, that's about everything that I'm going to cover in this video. If you want me to make a more in-depth video about stuff like SMS reminders and email reminders for the highest show rate possible on webinars, just drop a comment saying that, and then I'll consider making that. But this is going to be probably the biggest lever you could pull right now for your webinar funnel if you are doing organic webinars or using organic at all for your webinars, if that is coming from Instagram stories. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you think content like this is valuable, I plan on putting out a lot more very similar to this, with a lot of stuff to do with info products, with webinar funnels, with some launches. And so yeah, if you like that kind of thing, subscribe to the channel, like this video if it was helpful to you and you plan on using this, and yeah, comment what other videos you want to see. Peace.